And you can't get a better reputation than that. Your honor is everything. And when we follow those 9 noble virtues, that honor is always intact.
Now, you bring up the 9 noble virtues, and this is a side question real quick. Me and some of my kindred have actually been discussing lately about the 9 noble virtues, and some of them don't necessarily disagree with them, but they feel that because the 9 noble virtues, it wasn't a list that like Odin or one of the other gods, handed down, that they're not necessarily not as important, because they do agree that the virtues themselves are important, but they don't believe that the 9 noble virtues should be held to the stature that has been given to it, being that's true.
Right.
So, how do you feel about that?
Well, for 25 years I've lived by those virtues. I lived by most of them before that and didn't even know why. I haven't never had a problem following them. And so I don't think that they're really that hard. I would say that if a person felt like that they shouldn't have to follow them, then maybe they ought to do a little looking at themselves. There's nothing there that a person shouldn't want to strive to do.
Agreed. Okay. So, well, the next question, I know we touched on lightly before, and you said we could have a whole conversation on it. So,
yeah.
yeah, the next question. So, I guess let's, go a little brief with it, or, I know it's a big one, but how do you feel altitude has changed in the last 25 years that, you've been?
It is so much easier to be a heathen today than it was whenever I started, or people like Edward Thorson and Steve McNallen and Valgard Murray, all them guys. Dude, today, I mean, any old guy can be a heathen, and you can wear your hammer and not think nothing about it. There was a time, man, whenever it wasn't like that at all, and you did not let folks know about it, because they'd literally run you out of town. You were considered a devil worshiper and all kinds of crap like that. We still have that stigma, but not like it was. You couldn't find information. I mean, you had to go to be able to go to college and get information from overseas and stuff like that, and it took months and months and months. I mean, you had to contact somebody in Oslo and ask them at the museum there to possibly take time out of their schedule to look something up for you in the next few months and possibly send the information to you. There was no such thing as Google or anything like that. You had to go down to the library and do your homework, and seriously had to do your homework. You had to want it bad enough that you would go hunt it down. And I mean, literally get in your car, drive down to the library, and hunt it down. Today, you can go to any computer damn near anywhere. Type in Alpha True, Odinism, or Odin, or Freya, or anything else, and you can get all the information you want. Not all of it necessarily good information, but all the information you want. There is a lot of good information out there, though, and quite honestly, I'm not a big computer person, but it has made it possible for me to read books that I never would have had a chance to read if I'd had to go hunt them up at libraries. My wife has amassed a wonderful PDF library for me that I can spend the rest of my life reading and never have to read the same book twice.
Yeah, I was just going to say I have about over 50 books on attitude just on my phone. So, yeah, I know what you're saying.
It's an amazing thing. What back then there was just one or two people. I mean, like maybe in the state, if you were really lucky, there might just be one. I mean, it was there. Alcatraz was so slow coming out of the woods, um, but once it did, it started making some pretty good strides. And in the last 25, 30 years, I mean, just look at where it's come since Steve McNally kicked things off back in the early 70s. I mean, it's really stepped out. We have national organizations, we have regional organizations, we have state, we have kindreds throughout America now. We're growing and we're growing fast, and I attend a lot of gatherings. My wife and I, we put a lot of miles on the road every year, going out and meeting heathens and trying to put things together. And I'm a folk builder for the AFA for Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, and Arkansas. And that's a pretty good sized amount of ground to cover. And but we put down a lot of time and a lot of miles. And one of the things that stands out the most to me is now I'm starting to see second and third generation heathens. And man, for an old heathen like me, that makes my heart just warmer than hell. To see the little ones run around, when you see the young daughters and sons of your friends that's starting to have children now, and it's third generation heathens coming, it really does make you feel good. And a friend of mine's grandfather is going to be attending a gathering later this year. It'll be his last public appearance, and he's going to be 90 years old. He's the oldest heathen I know. We have heathenry has grown to cover such a wide range of ages and vocations. We have Alcatraz growing very quickly, not as quick as some folks may like, but the fact of the matter is that anything that grows too fast runs the risk of exploding. And so I would just soon to move a little bit slow and us get stable footing under us before we get too awful big for our shoes.
Now, to go back to something you said a bit earlier about back when you were younger, about having to do the research and how hard it was to get information, and now how easy it is, which, you're absolutely right. I can, I've done it I don't know how many times, just going on the internet if I needed to reference something. But now that it's so easy for people to learn any topic, but specifically about Asatru and any of the areas that come with it, do you feel that in a sense there should be some kind of trial for somebody if they're going to say join a kindred or some sort of organization, some way to prove themselves?
Well, I think as far as joining a kindred, in our kindred, you have a probationary period, and in order to earn your hammer, you have to memorize the Rite of Honor and the 9 Noble Virtues and their summary definitions, and our 5 thews and their summary definitions. All of these have extended definitions, but they just have to memorize the summary definitions and the 26 edicts of the Rite of Honor. Now, that sounds like a really lot to memorize, and you're right. My old elder taught me very early on that you can take and spend your time teaching people, or you can waste your time finding people. I choose to spend my time teaching people. So, to me, if I'm going to put the time in to do that, then I feel that that person needs to show that they are willing to do what it takes to learn. What it does is it winds up kind of weeding out the folks that are going to sooner or later fall to the wayside anyway. And as a general rule, most people, they'll stick around for a week to a month, but generally they don't last more than a month. If they last more than a month, and by the end of that month they will have been able to memorize most of that stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
Generally they're gone, and you find out the ones that are going to hang on and the ones that aren't. The ones that are going to hang on, those are the ones that you want. Those are the ones that are going to stick and learn because they want to learn. They want to know about the gods and goddesses. It's not just an epiphany that they had. Hey, I think I'll be a heathen today.
Yeah.
So in that aspect, yes. Now, like joining a national organization, as a general rule, there's certain aspects now, like with the AFA, it's pretty much for solitary practitioners or solitary heathens, not necessarily solitary practitioners, but solitary heathens. In other words, don't have kindred. It's not a kindred thing or anything like that, like the Alliance is. And then, of course, you have the Alliance that they do kindreds. I don't really think that there's a way that you could really do a probationary thing with that, because it's pretty much just kind of an internet deal until you actually go to one of the gatherings. By then, you've interacted with these people on the computer quite a bit, and then whenever you get to the gathering, then you get to find out what the person's like. I don't really see how you can really do a probationary period with that, though. I do know that all the national organizations do background checks on their members and stuff like that, and that's mainly to make sure that our membership is not bothered with those people that would morally not be sufficient.
Okay.
I should explain that a little better, shouldn't I? Because I did leave that a bit vague. Generally, it's mainly to make sure that there's no sex offenders or anything like that amongst the groups.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a bit better. I did have to stop for a second and think about that one. But, okay, well, that definitely makes sense. We definitely don't want people like that in our ranks.
Heathenry is so family-oriented and so child-oriented that, I mean, we can't allow anyone like that amongst our children. It's just not something that we're willing to deal with. And every heathen that I know of, if anything like that was to occur, it would not be a pretty sight. It would not be a pretty sight.
No,
so
not at all.
Most groups, from your kindreds on up, will always, do some type of background check on the people that are wanting to join, mainly because of that.